If I could take the time to truly understand where my strengths are personally and the strengths of those that I lead, then we could use those strengths and focus on the improvement there to get exponential business outcomes.
Hi, I'm Donna Griggs, CEO of Propel Change, and today we have Sherrie Whatton, who is the CEO of LBMC Staffing Solutions. Now, Sherrie, I know you've had a lot of years of really fabulous experience here and done a lot of good work.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And all of your clients, from everything that I can see and hear, feel like, wow, Sherrie and her group are just a total extension of our company, which I know from being an outsider in companies, it's hard to get there sometimes. So that is a big congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So what I want to talk about is not necessarily what you do with your clients, but I want to look at how do you lead your own team to make sure that you're getting the success that you have, because it's raving success.
Oh, thank you so much. I had an opportunity back a few years ago, and it was to actually hear about focusing on strengths. And through that conversation, it just really gave me kind of a paradigm shift in some of my leadership and management kind of thoughts. And it was on an assessment that basically was looking at strengths. And they were talking about a case study. And it's the whole, I guess, thought process around where you can get exponential improvement, right?
Right.
So they were talking about how they had taken a group of individuals that had natural ability and were strong speed readers, reading comprehension. And then they took a group that was not so strong and kind of weaker in that, subset as well. And so they put them through like a timed reading test. And I won't get the numbers right at all exactly, but you'll get the concept of it. Say there was like 758 words for the group that was strong and maybe 328 for the group that was weaker. Then they put them through an exercise of learning and trying to, again, improve that skill. And then they put them back through the time test. And the group that was at 758, the strong readers to begin with naturally and had that strength, went from like 758 to like 1,287, like almost double. And then the group that was weaker at that skill actually just went from like 328 to under 500. So you see that exponential improvement that you get when you focus on the strengths. And so it just really made me think about how, as cultures, a lot of times, you go back to our age-old work performance reviews and how so many cultures, even today, honestly, can really hone in and focus on people's weaknesses and feel like we have to kind of continually be focused on energy of improving those. And I'm not saying we should ignore them, don't get me wrong. But
isn't that why people dread performance appraisals in the first place?
Right.
Dread it. What have I done wrong?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And why am I not hearing this every day? Why am I hearing it maybe twice a year or once a year? Exactly.
A lot of times too. So it is one of those things that, while yes, we don't want to ignore them, when we as leaders want to try to devote the time, and this is what I kind of, took away from that, is if I could take the time to truly understand where my strengths are personally and the strengths of those that I lead, then we could use those strengths and focus on the improvement there to get exponential business outcomes,
right.
And just take advantage of those business outcomes and manage around our weaknesses. Because again, I think it's important as leaders, we also strive to make everybody better, including ourselves with each day. It's a lifelong process, right? It's a journey.
Exactly.
But
as hard as it is sometimes, it is a journey.
I know, we never reach the pinnacle, right? Or at least we hope we don't. And so it was one of those things that was really eye-opening to me, and it has been interesting to see the growth too that we've even experienced by taking that shift and looking at people, how they fit into the team, what strengths they bring to the table. So when there are projects or, things that come along, challenges, it's like, who can we pull in that's the strongest at this? And it might be you this time, me next time, the next person the next time. But it's a concept of, again, leading by strengths.
Well, let me switch gears a little bit on you. I know that there's a lot of people who are out there and they're saying, we need to recruit great people. We want to get them right the first time. So if I am looking for the right people, can you give me some tips about some things that I need to do?
Sure. That's my world, right?
That's why I ask you, because not everybody does this, but not everybody hires a recruiter or a staffing agency to help them. So what kind of things can you tell those people?
Sure. And really, the things that kind of come to mind would work in either way, right? Okay. But you're right. And that's one thing that sometimes we have to pull back and understand, that sometimes when people are hiring, that's not something they do every day, where it is something we do every day. And so that's one thing we really strive to help people with. And one of the first things I would say, as far as a tip to make sure that you do when you're looking to hire, is come up with a job description. And I'm not just talking pull the job description out of your file, on your computer that's been there for 10 years.
And not updated.
Or that HR, has that was written, yes. And, or quite frankly, with some new companies, they don't even have anything, right? It's a new role, it's a new position. So take the time on the front end to really force yourself to think through what the person will be doing.
Okay.
And not only what they'll be doing, but how it's going to interact with other parts of the organization, what skills it's going to take, if they're going to be behind a desk, crunching data and numbers, or are they going to be interacting, managing, projects, whatever it might be, to really think through not only just the technical skills, but then also the, non-technical skills, the soft skills that are going to be needed there. And even down to maybe percentages of time, like the bulk of time. And I'm not saying every little detail, but 75% of the time they're going to be doing these 3 things. Then you kind of know, okay, here's my wish list. I need these 10 things, but if I could find these 6, I could live with it, because that's going to meet that 75%.
So you rank order those as well to know what are the most important.
Right, because in today's tight job market, and even in a non-tight job market like we have today, sometimes you paint a picture of the perfect person that doesn't exist, right? So you really have to know that you might have to flex some as you're finding the talent, and you're going to want to find the best fit to set that person up for success. Again, like we were talking about the strengths. What kind of strengths is it going to take to do the job, and find somebody that has that natural ability and strengths, because more than likely they're going to have the job satisfaction, they're going to do well and excel in it.
Well, thank you so much for being here and giving us some, what do we need to think about on our own if we want to talk to you, or if we don't want to talk to you and we want to try this alone first. Great tips. Thank you so much.
Well, I hope it's helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sherrie.
Thank you.
For more topics like this, and to learn more about how we help our clients, please visit our website,